Hi, my name's Peter Ball. I'm a storyteller and author, and in my video today I would like to talk about some of the background behind the Pea and Bean children's series that I wrote. Pea and Bean stories go right back to my childhood. In fact, my father created Pea and Bean in the 1950s and 60s to entertain his kids. And I had a few bedtime stories as a child, and when I became a primary school teacher I decided I'd tell my own version of Pea and Bean, and over almost 40 years of teaching I told Pea and Bean stories almost every day to my students. Many of those stories became the books eventually, and now when I meet past students who are adults now, that's the only thing they remember is the stories. Somewhere in the late 1990s, I got the idea that I should try and write Pea and Bean down. And so I started with the first book, Pea and Bean Excellent. You can see Pea and Bean after they've left their catapult on their way to New Zealand. Now, all the Pea and Bean stories are creative, inventive, about friendship and perseverance. Bean is an inventor, and he creates some pretty wacky machines that he likes to use to go to exotic places. And his long-suffering friend P comes along for the ride. Unfortunately, Bean's inventions, while based loosely on scientific principles, don't always work according to plan because they're built out of junk. Because veggies, after all, have no money. So after he gets them into trouble, he then has to find a way to get them out of trouble again. And that's the plot of most of the books. So in this one, they try to go to New Zealand, but they can't. They get stuck somewhere else. And by the way, this book is out of print. You can't get this one. It's the only one I have. The second book, Little Lunch, is in print and available on my website. Bean makes a hot air balloon, and just in a simple, harmless test flight, what could possibly go wrong? They get blown halfway around the world to the Himalayas. But you'll have to read that to find out. By the way, I should point out that the books have a nice large print and well spaced. They're written for middle primary school age students. They're illustrated in some places with cute drawings by the illustrator Mark Ambrose. They're chapter books, not picture books. And this one is available on my website. Turbomab was the third one, where Bean used a simple science experiment that you can find on the internet using a soft drink bottle, a bike pump and a cork to make a kind of a simple rocket engine. And that's what powers Bean's invention, and he calls it Turbo. And in this one, they try to find the lost city of Atlantis, fail, of course, but instead meet a rather exotic visitor from another place. I won't say any more. Now, the fourth book is a bit of an unusual one. The book is produced, but it hasn't been published. So it's ready to go. It's got the pictures and the text, but there's been a hold-up, so I'm not sure if this one, what's happening with this one. Frozen Veggies. Bean gets the idea that they should go fishing offshore. They get hooked by a whale and dragged to Antarctica. You'll have to find out what happens next. Hopefully, if this book doesn't come out soon, I might re-release it myself. There is a fifth book which was written called Something Purple. It's been written but not published. And there's a sixth book floating around up here in the old noggin. One that I told my students before I finished teaching, where Pea and Bean travel back in time to the Ice Age in a time machine. My students particularly like that story, so I have to write it down at some point. If you have any questions about Pea and Bean, feel free to put them in the comments below. Visit my website, peterball.com.au, or my Facebook page. Send a friend request to join the Facebook page, Peter Ball Author, and where I provide updates and information about my 2 current series, Pea and Bean series and the Young Adult series, which I'll talk about in another video. I'm not sure if I mentioned the reading age of these books. These are perfect for reading aloud to children for bedtime stories, or for teachers to read aloud after lunchtime. There's nothing in them that you would find questionable or disturbing. They're pretty simple, harmless stories, fun. Kids of around 8 and 9 would have no trouble reading them. Younger children have read them and enjoyed them. Older children have read them and enjoyed them. But anyway, that's the first of the series that I wanted to talk about on my YouTube channel, Pea and Bean, written for children. The next video will focus on my young adult series. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next time.